How's it going, everyone? The spring split has officially gotten underway. EU Regional 1 is begun, and with that, we've had a lot of exciting matches. I will be recapping all the specifics to that tomorrow, but today I figured something I haven't done in quite a while is give you guys my predictions. We finally have our top 8 that are going to be making it into the playoffs and competing today when this video comes out. So I figured, why not, before I sit down for the watch party, give my official predictions and see how awful I do. What is up, everybody? Lawler here, your inside source for all things Rocket League. As I mentioned in the intro, it's been a while since I've done one of these. Figured it'd be kind of fun to do some predictions. We got the spring split starting, and we've got 8 teams, as they've probably showing somewhere over here. We've got BDS, White Demons, Giants Gaming, Aether, Solary, Godsmilla's team, Team Vitality, and Guild Esports. If you haven't seen the matches from the previous past couple of days, a little bit of a spoiler, but ultimately, figured it'd be kind of fun to give you my top 8 final predictions. I will say, out of all of these, the only 2 that I thought would be in this circumstance instead, probably Team Queso and maybe Top Blokes. But Godsmilla's team's been looking pretty dang good, so we'll have to talk about them a little bit later. But some new faces and some new rosters has made for some really exciting moments. So in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down who I think is going to win the whole thing. Super TLDR, you can probably guess on who it is, but ultimately I think there could be some pretty big upsets, and I'm going to explain my reasons why and kind of go through who I think is going to take it. Before I get into that, as always, if you guys enjoyed the content, thumbs up, subscribe, notifications, all that kind of fun stuff down below. Questions, comments, concerns. It sounds like you guys really enjoyed the concept of me doing a weekly AMA, so comments, if you guys do have them, and questions you do have them, drop them on any of the videos. I will try to, at least once a week, go through all of those and try to answer some. So first things first, let's get straight into the playoffs. We've got the quarterfinals. We got BDS versus White Demons, Giants Gaming versus Aether, Solary versus Godsmilla's team, and Team Vitality versus Guild Esports. We're going to start with the first one, BDS versus White Demons. Obviously, BDS is the favorite here as the high seed, still looking as dominant as ever. As for White Demons, they did switch up their roster. It is now Doritos, CRR, and Tigre with the latest addition, and based on results, they're actually doing okay. Going neutral, their big losses coming to some pretty notable teams. But again, it's BDS. BDS looks like they're not slowing down in any capacity whatsoever. Perfect in groups, perfect in everything else. Quarterfinals, everything in the playoffs are actually a best of 7. So in this circumstance, I think it'll be 4-1 BDS. I think BDS is just lights out better in every capacity than White Demons, which is unfortunate for White Demons. That's the luck of the draw for them. So BDS 4-1 over White Demons. We'll be moving on to the semifinals. Below that is Giants Gaming versus Aether. If you guys don't know Aether, new addition, basically a bunch of players from different teams all coming together collectively. You've got Yukio from Fadeaway, you've got Ixo from Galaxy Racer, and Tox from former Giants until he swapped around and then did Solary and everything else. So basically a melting pot. This is essentially Leftovers 3.0. I don't know what iteration of Leftovers we're on, but Aether's been looking pretty dang good. They, in my opinion, were in the toughest group, so for them to come out of that pretty convincingly is actually pretty commendable. I will say their lower bracket showing was kind of meh, but ultimately they did go up against some pretty tough teams. Difficulty for them, though, is I do think Giants Gaming has been looking pretty good. Giants Gaming has been kind of topsy-turvy, for lack of better phrasing, over the past month or two. Like winter, Giants was kind of all over the place. You have expectation of them still being a top 4 team, which I think they still live up to that name. And Aether, even though they are trending well, I just don't think it's enough. High seed, I think, on this one. Pretty convinced. I think Giants Gaming is going to be going up against Team BDS in the semifinals. But I do think Aether will put up a little bit more of a fight. Probably 4-2 if I had to guess. Maybe 4-3. Because Giants does tend to let teams back into it, and then they show up really strong in like Game 6, Game 7. So I'm going to go with 4-2, though. I think Giants should be able to close this one out. I think their really fast, aggressive playstyle should match Aether pretty well. I will say that Aether has a very similar playstyle from what I've seen to a Veloce kind of slow, passive counterattack style. But when they do counterattack, they're very deadly. So for Giants, that's super fast and aggressive and in their face. I don't know if that's going to happen. Either Giants overcommits a little bit too hard and they get punished, or you're going to see Aether just have a really tough time. So I do think Aether might catch them off guard a couple times. Probably 4-2. I'll stick with that prediction. Got Solary versus Godsmilla's team. Solary, for those that don't know, is the previous Oxygen team. So it is Farah, Shawzette, and Astral on Godsmilla's team, which he has deemed Godsmilla's team. Therefore, Scrub cannot take it over. Is Godsmilla, Freaky, former from Fadeaway as well, and a Chronic. Chronic has been playing amazing, to be completely honest, And I think the casters at one point made a joke about it being a Chronix team, but no, Chronix playing really dang well, and it's being paired with a lot of finishing capabilities from Freaky, which is nothing new in what he did with Fadeaways. So Godsmill's teams have actually been playing pretty well. I'm actually a little bit nervous because Oxygen finds themselves in these positions quite a bit, and then they falter, and I don't know if that's going to be the case here. I think Godsmill's team actually pairs up against them pretty well. I just want to see Solary continue their dominance of what they've had in the past. One of the teams that gave people a lot of trouble is Rix.GG, and Solary didn't seem to have any issues with that whatsoever. So I'm leaning towards Solary. They did take first in their groups over Vitality as well. This is actually a rematch. We've already seen this matchup before, and Godsmill's team got swept. So that leads me to believe not only do we have a head-to-head in their favor and a convincing one at that, I do think Solary is kind of handling their issues of mental problems, pressure, etc. like they've had in the past. Their mental coach has been a really huge benefit to them over the winter split, so I think they're over that hurdle, and I think this format actually benefits them quite a bit. So I think Oxygen/Solary is coming in with a lot of momentum, and that's going to carry through. They've already beat this team, why not again? I think this one will be a lot closer than what it was last time. I think it'll probably be 4-1 again. 4-2 maybe. I think it's a little bit tougher. I'm going to stick with 4-1 though. Last but definitely not least, Team Vitality versus Guild. I did say on stream, I think Guild is probably one of the most underrated teams. Even though I think they're like a top 5, top 6 spot, I think Guild's really, really good. And they continue to prove that. People really give them the credit that they deserve. I think what Devo has added to that team has been really, really good. As for Vitality, I think this is also a format that I think really benefits Vitality because sometimes they start a little bit slow. As long as they have that extra life, they continue to just rifle through everybody else. Vitality's only loss did come to Solary, which they would have to play in the semifinals, and I think that's what I personally want for selfish reasons. I want to see that rematch because it was a good series. So I'm going to go Vitality beating Guild. I think Vitality just outclasses Guild. Even though I think that Guild is a really good team, they really need like that pop-off potential of Devo to really carry it the other way. I do think Though had a really good performance, and that's why they got to the top 8, but primarily I think Vitality just outclasses them here. And in a best of 7, I think anytime you put Vitality in a best of 7, the chances of them winning are pretty high. So I think we're going to get a rematch in both of these. So for Vitality and Guild, I think this will be a little bit more of a fight. I could see it going 4-2, possibly 4-3. I think the matches are going to be really close though. But I do have Vitality over the top of Guild. I'm going to go with 4-3 just because I think it'll be a good one. Into the semifinals, you got BDS then versus Giants and Solary versus Team Vitality. BDS versus Giants, I think, is an interesting one, just because these two teams are at the top. I do personally think that BDS is playing a much better game than Giants as of late. I think Giants has definitely had some inconsistencies, not in regards to their results, but just when I've seen them play exceptionally well and just dominate teams and win challenges left and right and be in your face. I haven't seen that level of intensity, and that's what I mean by the inconsistency. I've said the same thing about Energy in the past, where the team, when I say they're inconsistent, it's not that I don't think the results have been good. It's that I don't know what version or what iteration of the team I'm going to get. Am I going to get a Giants gaming that's just incredible and really in the face and able to keep up with BDS? Or am I going to see a Giants team that struggles a little bit and then they're playing catch up? I think I'm going to get the latter, which is unfortunate for Giants because I still think they're really good. Top 4 quality in the region. It's just BDS has been lights out, and that doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon, even with the break. So I do have BDS winning this one. I think this one will probably go, I hope it goes to 7 and is 4-3 BDS. But I could see it being 4-2 and BDS just kind of runs away with it. I'm gonna stick with 4-2. I'm gonna go 4-2 BDS over Giants. We then get a rematch between Solary and Vitality, and the last time these guys played in groups, it was Solary on top. I don't think that's gonna be the case this time. A lot of the matches were pretty close, within like a goal or two, so I do think it could go the other way, but I think this is where the format, and when I mention it benefiting Vitality, I think this is exactly why. I think Vitality's gonna have a really good warm-up match against Guild, and they're going to be ready to go against Solary. I'm a little bit worried for Solary on this one. I think Vitality's probably going to like 4-1 them, if I'm being completely honest. I think Vitality and BDS in the finals is almost a given nowadays, especially in a format like this. So I do think Vitality is going to beat Solary and come back and get their rematch, and they're going to do it quite convincingly. So 4-1 Vitality over Solary. That'll bring us into then the grand finals, BDS versus Vitality. I personally think this is a coin toss. I think this one's really difficult, so I'm going to do just that. I'm going to toss a coin or a dice, and for every time it's even, and for every time it's odd, if it's even, I'll give it to BDS. If it's odd, I'll give it to Vitality. So for the grand finals, I have a D4, a 4-sided die. Every time I roll it, it's going to be either a 1, 2, 3, or 4. And if it is even, like I said, it'll go to the high seed, which is BDS. If I go odd, it'll go to Vitality. I'm going to tally it. It's hard to show this, so I'm just going to, you're going to have to trust me on it. And I promise it's not scripted. It's me literally rolling it and figuring out how it goes. So here we go. First number is a 3. So it is Vitality. The 4, BDS. 3, Vitality. 3, Vitality. 3-1 right now. And now it's 3-2. Even for BDS. That fell. It doesn't count. Even for BDS. And it's even. So BDS 4-3. So BDS is going to win it in 7. It looks like, according to this dice. I'm going to keep track of how often this thing is right if we do these things consistently. And maybe we'll have a curse going on and developing on this channel. But according to the dice, 4-3 in Vitality's favor. Vitality goes up 3-1, and then BDS comes back 3 in a row and wins it. If that happens, that's going to be a really hype grand final. But that is it for my predictions. Of course, it sounds a little boring when you look at it. BDS versus Vitality in grand finals. But quite honestly, go back and look at all the events, and it stays pretty true. So with that said, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, or some predictions of your own, drop those in the comments down below. Love to see what you guys have to say. I will be doing a watch party for the matches over at twitch.tv/Lawler. Link in the description down below as well. If you'd like to come hang out with us, watch the matches, in-depth analysis, answering your questions, and overall just being fans of the game. Just sitting there watching high-level Rocket League is always pretty fun. So with that said, that is going to wrap it up for this video. That is my predictions, and hopefully they go according to plan.